how would I, as a new dom, start to explore so I and my new sub can discover our kinks, desires, curiosities, etc. that we are unaware that we have. If you haven't taken, Dominic who has this question, if you haven't already taken some sort of assessment, some BDSM test to see general categories of things you typically like and general categories of what your submissive typically likes, that is an excellent place to start because, like I said, it will give you broad categories of play. You have your submissive take that test. Maybe you think that she is really into bondage and you're really hoping for that. Maybe she scores less on that than you thought. Then that's a matter of exploration because that's a matter of, okay, you might want to push her safely and consensually into some more acts of bondage, but that's going to have to take some time. Do you see what I'm saying? Once you get the knowledge about your submissive, you kind of know how to pace and where and what. So that's the first thing. I would say if you haven't started out with some sort of test or assessment like that to give you general categories of areas that you might be interested in, that your submissive might be interested in, start there. That's absolutely the first step. I would also say, tight, assert, use, scary stuff is everywhere. So again, I think the biggest tool when you're getting to know a submissive and just in general is be curious. Stay curious. Ask lots of questions. If you take a test, you do some sort of assessment with your submissive, don't just take the things that you find on that list at face value. Ask. That's good definitions for a lot of, right, but that's what I'm saying. Don't just stop at the test. Be curious about what comes up on the test. Be curious about what comes up in this assessment. Ask your submissive questions. Okay, it shows that you scored, high on masochism. Great. Do you know what that looks like to you? Do you have any fantasies? Have you ever thought about someone spanking you before? Whatever. And that, just opening up the doors of communication, will help you really get a lot of knowledge about your submissive. So that you know, okay, we're not doing this now, but this is an area that we can go next. This is an area of exploration. Also, play where you currently are. That's what I was trying to convey before. Pace yourself. Pace yourself. There will be a day that both of you will be like, man, I'm bored with this. I want to try this. I want to try this. I want to try this. Great. But don't accelerate that pace if you don't need to. If you both are really enjoying how you're playing right now, then maybe just add new elements of things. Like if you have only been playing with cuffs, but you're like, ooh, I really want to try something else, throw in some bondage tape. It's still bondage. It's still something that is comfortable and feels safe and known to you, your submissive, but it's a new element. It's a new way to play in bondage. And that will slowly start opening up your mind, your submissive's mind, etc. Go very slowly. And then also, I have 2 other guides. So we've got, I said, take the BDSM test or some sort of assessment to get you kind of mapping it out, so to speak. But then I have 2 guides for you on my Patreon. The first one is a sub-training guide, and then the second one is a scene building guide. Now, the sub-training guide is like 7 pages, and essentially what this will help you do, newbie dominant, is get a very, very clear fence line. Get a very, very clear border where you know these are the things that my submissive really likes, they enjoy, they respond well to. Here's how I can reward my submissive. Here's how I can incentivize their obedience and their devotion, all of these things. But then you also see these are the things, these are their hard limits that I will never ever punish with, I will never ever discipline with. But these are the things that they may not love, they may not enjoy, but they still consent to. And I can use these as punishments. I can use these to redirect motivations, intentions, etc. The more knowledge that you have as a newbie dom, the more you can start inviting into your scene, inviting into your play. That would be my next thing, the sub-training guide. And then addition to that, we've got the scene building guide. So once you kind of know what your submissive's hard limits are, what they're curious about, what they really like, what they consider punishments, what they consider punishments, etc., then you can go to the scene building guide, and that's something that will literally walk you through how to plan it, how to set the mood, what to do in the middle. All of that, I have that on Patreon as well.